The NBA is about talent. All these guys who run these organizations who talk about analytics, they have one thing in common. They're a bunch of guys who ain't never played the game, and they never got the girls in high school, and they just want to get in the game.
Man, Charles Barkley spoke for a lot of people when he ripped analytics there back in 2015. He was watching the game change before his eyes because of the three, and he hated it. Some people said he was jealous. Some people said he was crazy. Maybe he thought it would draw attention to the fact that he only shot 26% from downtown. Whatever the reason, he got called an idiot, and if you agreed with him, you got called an idiot too. But the crazy thing is, it looks like Charles Barkley might have been right this whole time. The NBA was most popular from 1987 to 1998 when Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, and some guy named Michael Jordan were the stars. After Michael retired the first time though, things started to slip, including their shorts, which actually is starting to recover, unlike the ratings. And you might think that cord cutting explains why traditional TV ratings are down, but in a poll, 38% of sports fans said they watch fewer NBA games. And look, no one's gonna be as popular as Michael Jordan, but we still have stars. People love Steph Curry and LeBron James or Kobe Bryant in the 2000s. So what else has changed? The way the game looks on the court. Today's game is all about positionless basketball, which means a 7'3" guy like Kristaps is expected to shoot threes like a 6'3" guy like Steph. In fact, three-point attempts have just gone up and have not reached their ceiling. In 1979, when the three-pointer was introduced, guys pounded more beers at halftime than shot threes. 2.8 trays a game. That hovered around 18 a game in the 2000s. This year, the average is over 35 threes a night. Some people say that ruined basketball. In the 90s, there were different styles. Did you see how Tim Duncan used to dress? Well, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about styles of basketball. Michael and Kobe were mid-range assassins that perfected the fadeaway. Big men like Hakeem Olajuwon used finesse in the post. Other big men like Shaq had power. Sure, there were shooters like Reggie Miller or Steve Kerr, but there were hardcore slashers too, like Dr. J or Dominique Wilkins. Back in the day, every team had a different kind of flavor, right? Now, basically they all win the same. No wonder people love Charles Barkley's rant on analytics. They hate how the game is played today. But now, things are slowly starting to turn back. And I'll explain why, but a lot of people accuse Steph Curry for the three-point revolution. I blame Daryl Morey. Now he's known as the Sixers GM, the guy who is holding Ben Simmons hostage somewhere in Philadelphia. But he came up in Houston with the Rockets. Daryl didn't invent analytics, but he definitely became the face. What nerds like Daryl Morey found out through a lot of research was that three-pointers are worth more than two-pointers.
Yeah, no shit, Sherlock.
All right, it's a little more complicated than that, actually. So basically, if you shoot the same amount of shots, but you shoot 40% from three, that's worth 60% from two. And basically, a lot more guys can shoot 40% from three, so it'd be stupid to shoot a lot of two-pointers. Literally, there have been 126 players ever who have shot 60% or better on two. There are over 300 guys who shoot 40% or better from downtown. We're getting more and more 40% from downtown players every year. It's just easier to score the same amount of points. And it's the same thing with dunks and layups. The field goal percentage on those easy baskets are much better than a long two. So you want to go for dunks and threes. It's called shot quality. And in the past 15 years with analytics, we see a strong relationship with shot quality and shooting success. The teams that get the most dunks and threes would shoot the most efficiently. But then that relationship started to go down. An amazing article on The Ringer lays it all out. While we were all about analytics, everything changed. There is now, and this is crazy to say, no relationship between shot quality and field goal percentage. According to Cleaning the Glass, the team that gets the most dunks and threes is the 11-win Houston Rockets. The team with the worst shot quality is the amazing Phoenix Suns. Other top 10 shot quality teams other than the Rockets are the Pistons and the Thunder, seriously. And other teams at the bottom of shot quality Or like the Brooklyn Nets and the Chicago Bulls. What is going on? Was Charles Barkley right? Are analytics total BS? Well, yes and no. So look, teams are still taking a ton of threes. But what's different is that everyone's doing it. Like imagine if you had a cheat code in a video game and only one person found out about that cheat code. So no matter who they played, someone who was really good, the crappy guy with the cheat code would beat the good guy. Well, what happens when everyone starts to use that cheat code? Well, the thing that makes the difference, once again, is just talent. Well, that is exactly what's happening in the NBA. Everyone is using the same analytics, so talent is beating analytics every time. Now, only the best players take those long mid-range twos. Last year, there were 16 players who took at least 3 of those long twos per game. Those 16 were Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, DeMar DeRozan, Joel Embiid, Anthony Davis, Brandon Ingram, Julius Randle, DeJounte Murray, Kawhi Leonard, Karis LeVert, Chris Paul, Dillon Brooks, Kyrie Irving, Trae Young, Nikola Vucevic, and Luka Doncic. Do you notice a trend? 13 of the 16 were all-stars. Compare that to 10 years ago, 87 players took at least 3 long twos a game. And a lot of those didn't go in. But when you're Kevin friggin' Durant, a long two is actually a pretty good shot. If you watch the NBA this year, you already know this. DeMar DeRozan still lives in the mid-range. He's having an elite year for the Bulls. And actually these days a defense would rather take away the long two, so the most talented players are like, yeah, I'll take that all day. We have been taught that the teams that take a lot of long twos are analytically stupid. Well, actually, the next time you hear an announcer say, oh, that's a bad shot, the analytics guys hate that, you know, actually they're wrong. And actually my favorite graph from that Ringer article is this one about the Houston Rockets. It is perfect. It shows the Rockets' shot quality in blue, their effective field goal percentage in orange year by year. Everything's looking good until boom. The field goal percentage just dropped off a cliff last season, despite the shot quality still being elite. What changed? Oh, I don't know, a little guy named James Harden not being on their team anymore. And the crazy thing, like, this is exactly what Charles Barkley was saying. He was like, is LeBron James analytics? Is LeBron going to the Heat analytics, or are they just great players? That's pretty much exactly what that chart proves. Basically what I'm saying is, Charles Barkley, you're a genius.
My favorite city to visit in the world, Toronto, Jonas Valanciunas.
Also known as
See, I chopped the name up. Don't play good for him.
Okay, maybe not a genius, but he's right. Talent is what matters. Now, I'm not saying that we're going to go back to the old school days where everyone shot mid-rangers and wore literal window curtains to the draft, but I am saying that shot quality is old news now. There is going to be the next analytics revolution that takes over the game. And I predict, just like Steph Curry was the perfect superstar for this era of basketball, there's going to be some other player who is perfect for the next era of the NBA. Let me know in the comments what you think the next analytics edge might be, because honestly, maybe it's already happening. And speaking of analytics, there is one stat that will blow your mind about how good the Grizzlies were when they didn't have Ja Morant. And some people are actually asking if they should talk about trading Ja. I did a whole video that explains everything.